sat down the last 2 weeks of the end of the year, and I really sit down and I really thought about what fulfills me, like what fulfills me without the money, without the success. Like, what's one thing that I could do every single day and feel like I'm living, like I'm on top of the world. And as you guys know, like me empowering and motivating and inspiring and educating, that's definitely my purpose. And I feel like whenever I do that, it doesn't feel like a job. It feels like I'm living life to the fullest. So for that reason, we started a broadcast channel on Instagram called The Wake Up Call, right? And as you guys can see, it also has Spanish. In Spanish, it's called La Llamada Despertadora, which means to wake up. And the whole scope behind it is that I really want to attract both the African American and Latin market, right? The Latin market is definitely one market that I truly feel that is completely lost. There's no one really advocating or catering for that market. Me coming from that environment and being Latin myself, I feel like I really have not just the experience, but I feel like I have the wisdom to be able to inspire and motivate not just Latin people, but anybody across the world. So the whole scope behind it is to really talk about the topics that nobody really want to talk about, right? That no one is brave enough to talk about. I think we've been able to have different sessions that really talk about how much of a system we currently live in. When people talk about credit, when they talk about business funding, when folks talk about the stock market, people are giving you guys high level information, right, of how things work because they're following, right? But when you get to a point where you're able to study these different concepts that we live in, and you get to a point where you get to actually understand why things work the way they do, like for example, a credit union is not going to be your best friend just because you're such a great person. Like that's not the whole scope behind a credit union. A credit union is going to give you better offers. Why? Because they have to make more money. They have to loan money, right? So I feel like it's critical deep information like that they really fool our people. They fool our community, right? So I truly feel like this year is the year to really wake up the masses, not just when it comes to money, but also when it comes to the power of the mind. There's so many different topics that honestly, there's days that I'm at home and I'm like, damn, I wish I was live right now just talking to people because there's a lot of information and knowledge and wisdom and experience that I feel like we've been able to gather and obtain throughout the years. And I think it's time for us to share that with the world. So this is the year of no holding back. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not that whole humble. I'm not going to be humble for nobody. I'm not going to dim my light for no one on this planet. And I feel like I've had the opportunity to honestly experience things from various different angles, right? I went to college at 16. I went to Michigan State University. I played baseball. I come from New York City. I grew up in that environment. From there, I went on to Microsoft. I work in tech. I know about cybersecurity. At 18, I was working at GE, so different experiences that I feel like we go through and oftentimes we stay shut, right? We never share the experiences, and people don't understand that the real wealth it's not the money in your bank account. It's the experience that actually comes with it. So aside from that, being able to trade, to know about trading, to know about credit, to know about business funding, starting companies like the trucking company that we just started last year with credit. How do you actually get that done? So it's a lot of things that I just can't stay shut no more. And you can't imagine the amount of people, even in my family. I have arguments with certain people in my family all the time, and it's because they tell me, Chris, you should chill out for a little bit. Like kind of like you should chill out for a little bit. You've been working hard, for all these different years. Take some time off. And it's like you know the amount of people that are waiting for that perfect moment where they make 10K, 20K a month and they're able to sit down and not do anything and just chill. I've come to the conclusion that that lifestyle of being average is not me. Like that, even Sundays, I can't finish a movie. That's not me. I like to build, I like to create, and being average to me is not something that I like to entertain. So even the whole scope behind, even because you got to think about this, even when you do get to that point in your life where you're financially set, and this is why people don't understand, it's not about the end goal, it's about the process. People don't understand that. once you get to the end goal, like for example, every goal that I've had, once I get there, I'm like, okay, cool, what's next? Like, what else can I do? What else can I achieve? You know, so um my purpose is to inspire. My purpose is to, build and empower others. And that's what I'm gonna do this year. And this year, I know for a fact that the universe is gonna bless us, every single person here, to have a legendary year. So like, that's the whole scope behind the wake up call.
Yeah, and just one quick thing to add on. I think I told Chris this actually last year. So before the year ended, and this is a good transition to get into the next topic that we're going to cover. I literally went to the I think it was my eye doctor or the dentist, one of the two, and we just had, like, you go, you have a great conversation, really really nice ladies, and I told them, like, are you ready for 2024? They're like, yeah, we're ready. New year, new goals, everything, the same shit that everybody says at the beginning of the year. New Year's resolution, all that crap. So I told them, I say, have you thought about how your finances are going to be in 2024, or have you thought about like the planning? She's like, when somebody gets like that shock, like, oh, I didn't know that's what you're going to mention. I was like, I want you to go tonight, this weekend, and sit down and write down all your expenses. What comes in, what comes out? What are you paying for? What are you not paying for? Or where's the money coming in? Where's the money coming out? And I said, I'm gonna be back in a week to pick up my glasses, and you tell me. Literally, when I came back a week later, the lady was like, man, Martin, you made me cry when I was doing my shit. The fact that somebody is crying, writing down like the expenses, to me, you gotta scan this QR code, because that's a wake up. You need a real wake up, because that's the whole point, scope of all this is there has to be a point in time where we all gotta wake up. And it's crazy that the people that are sleeping, they know they're sleeping, but they don't want to wake up. That's the part that's the toughest. And that's the whole point of the channel.